Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back. First, I'd like to welcome Joe of Joe's Computer Museum, Zodium, Vintage Hillbilly Shack, Retro Techie, who is actually not here apparently, ha ha ha, and Retro Tech Chris, welcome. Yes, Thursday night system upgrade nights. Well, that's kind of what I feel like here. All right. So I have on the workbench, as you might have expected by the video title. Uh-oh. All right. Apparently, that's interesting. All right, apparently I have plugged the wrong cable in for my camera. So let me walk around my desk one moment. Which, since I have a microphone, you'll still be able to hear me probably clearer than it used to be. Because I'd unplugged the HDMI cable to do something else earlier, and, well, by golly, I plugged the wrong HDMI cable in. All right. All right, well, let me make sure the other HDMI cable I plugged in is correct. It is. All right. So did possibly, yay, there we go. Luckily, that is going into a Blackmagic Intensity capture card, and apparently it is more forgiving about having things plugged in than, say, just a USB webcam. So, all right. I have the Amiga 1000 still on the workbench because it refuses to leave. Keep telling it to go on the shelf, and it keeps telling me, but I'm not fixed yet. You know you want the mouse to work. Because I have this poor mouse that I've tried to work on. This is the original mouse. And despite my best efforts, which actually, since I last streamed, I actually took the rollers out, the encoder wheels out, and checked everything, and I actually put it through the ultrasonic cleaner and let it dry. And I tested it without putting it back together, and it still didn't work. So actually, the first thing I wanted to do was just confirm that it is in fact dead by going ahead and putting it back together, because if it is dead, I'm going to put it into storage on the shelf, but I want to put it into storage as an intact assembly and not parts that I can manage to lose. And actually, if anyone's wondering, I actually did break something when I took the encoder wheels out, so I don't actually recommend. Let's see, that's the wrong screw. I don't actually, wait a minute. Hold on. I got one screw that is a runaway on my desk. Oh no. Don't tell me I lost a screw. Let's see here. 1, 2, I've got 3 screws. And I seem to have lost a screw. Oh no. How am I ever going to put the mouse? I may have to put the mouse back on the shelf as a bunch of unassembled parts because I'm missing a screw. Well, I'll at least I'll put it back together enough for testing purposes. So, yep, welcome Spirit Walker Adventures and Jack68K and Dave of Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. I would be curious to know if anyone can hear the dehumidifier. I am hoping that because it is behind me and I'm using this new microphone, that it is probably not audible. Ah, yay, that's good. I don't like turning it off because that means that I have a tendency of forgetting to turn it back on. And then the basement gets really humid. All right, well, that probably means that the microphone position, which is actually just right here, coupled with the audio settings in OBS Studio, I think I've finally achieved one of my audio goals. That is to not be able to hear the dehumidifier. Yay! Because when I forget to turn it back on, then it gets really humid in the basement. And humidity is just bad for vintage electronics and bad for houses. There we go. So there's the one one screw I can find. I'm going to put the cable back in. I think it goes right like that. I can't find the screw that goes there. It probably rolled off of the desk or it's under something and I'll find it at some point. So let me just... Yep. Put the cover back on. I guess I'll go ahead and put the two screws back in so I can actually try to use it. I mean, this mouse is as clean, other than the feet, there's still dirt around the edges of the feet. But this mouse is practically as clean as I can get it. I actually did find a no infrared camera, and actually I just realized that, let me see. No, I took a video. Let me see, what's the best way of... If anyone was curious, because I know someone last week had asked me if here we go. I'll just share it like this. So let's go full screen here, and then I'll go to OBS. I should have a screen share. All right, so I got a no infrared filter camera for my Raspberry Pi, and I don't know if you can see, it's really faint, but but you can kind of see, oh, here we go. I think that's right. Because it was hard to see with the lights on in the basement. I turned the lights off in the basement, and here we go. I think now it's about to get to the point where you'll probably be able to see what I saw. So this mouse, and again, this is with a no infrared camera for the Raspberry Pi. So if you can probably see it. They're very faint, but you can see the 4 infrared transmitters on the board. So you can see the faint glow. And I have to say, for $12.50, let me grab the... It's just the Argicam brand, no infrared filter, Raspberry Pi camera. It doesn't let you interchange the lens, but I guess there's the $12.50. And so now I have a little camera that can at least see infrared. Zodium, this is the Rode Wireless Go 2. They are not exactly cheap, but yes, they do sound fantastic. And I just got the one microphone version. I maybe slightly regret it because I don't know if you can get the second. But I've got the transmitter, plugs into USB-C into the computer, and I set that as my audio source. And then I just have the clip mic with the, I don't know, whatever they call them. But yeah, it seems to be what all the cool YouTubers are using these days. So I tuck it like this because Rode is not a sponsor. They definitely did not provide it. So I tuck it so that you can't see the Rode logo. If they want to sponsor me, I'll gladly flip it around and wear it the other way. I probably will get the lapel mic for it. But for now, I just use the clip-on. It's wireless. It seems to work great. And yeah, it sounds really good. All right, so I got the mouse back together. Go ahead and turn the Amiga on, and if I can remember, oh. Gotta hit the button here. Oh, all right. And okay. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, hold on. I know what the other I know where the other cable, the cable that I unplugged was supposed to go to. Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so that cable actually needs to go there. Yes, this other mystery USB cable back here was the input to my capture card. Okay, so yes, moral of this story is if you snag cables for some purpose because you need to snag a cable, remember to put them back when you're done. There we go. All right. Transform, reset transform. All right, transform. There we go. Now that I have seen through OBS's shenanigans, and that actually doesn't really look as clear as I think it should, but whatever. Oh, wrong. There we go. Sad Mac. Yes, I need to get some tape labels. I definitely do. Actually, I have them somewhere in the house. All right, while we wait for that to load, let me see if I can do anything to make the video look just a little bit better. Well, all right. Obviously, OBS, I don't know why. There we go. That's better. That looks better. So this video is actually being captured from the RGB to HDMI, so it should look pretty clear until YouTube does their usual video mangling. So this is the original mouse. I've plugged it in. Ah! and it's actually moving sideways. Interesting. It was not moving sideways the other day, but it still won't move up and down. All right, so that mouse is broken. I will hold on to it in case I can ever fix it, but you know, I think on the Amiga I can unplug and plug mice without turning it on and off. So, I, beside me, have a few things. And first of all, I would like to thank Joe, because Joe saw my plight of not having a working mouse, and I accepted his offer to hedge my bets. You know, VHS, it could be the connector on the old mouse. I haven't excluded that totally. But I did do a continuity check, and it seemed to be fine. And Joe, I'm not going to break your mouse. I'm also not going to get your mouse mixed up with some of the other things I have beside me. But anyways, Joe kindly sent me his Amiga mouse on loan so that I could at least make sure I had a mouse to be able to test with. So thank you, Joe. Definitely go check out Joe's channel, Joe's Computer Museum. He's a really cool guy, and he wanted to make sure I could test my Amiga. So, Thomas, the original mouse, I think is dead, or it's not working correctly. So, anyways, yes, I will probably be able to get your mouse back to you soon, Joe, although I know you're probably in no hurry to Amiga, but you'll see in a moment that the postal service was actually working at their best this week, apparently. So, with Joe's mouse, which was actually the first mouse that arrived, actually, Joe, I'll probably ship it back to you with the other stuff I'm putting together to ship you, because I'll already be sending you something. But yeah, we'll be able to get back to you. Because one day we'll convince you to work on your Amiga. But I would like to show you that this mouse that Joe sent me, now granted, I'm not mousing on the greatest of surface, but look, it moves horizontally. It moves vertically. I can click on buttons. I can show you that I have 506 kilobytes of chip RAM. I can show you that I have no auto-config boards connected. I can show you that I have a floppy drive. This is great. I can actually use the mouse. Yeah, it's not the computer. That's the important thing. I can tell you that my computer, 533 dry stones. I think that's more dry stones that are in my yard right now. Boom, boom. Yay! All right. So my Amiga actually works with an actual Amiga mouse. Hooray! So I actually I did kind of do a little research into Amiga mouse options. So let me set this to the side so that it's safe. Let's see, close this window here. And all right. Let me go back to screen share. So actually, I was looking into options for mice, because obviously, Joe's Amiga mouse is also his Atari ST mouse using an adapter doodle. Yes, that is true. The mice are very, very similar. All right. So actually, I did some searching, and I think this was by things people were mentioning in the chat. Yeah, Thomas, I might see if I can find a cord that I can use to sacrifice to, just to make sure it's not the cord that came with that mouse. Because if it is the cord for the mouse, it'd be a shame, because Commodore put a right angle connector on the Amiga 1000's mouse so that the cord would go down to your desk, and so the cord doesn't stick out like really far from the side. But so yeah, one option is the laser upgrade for Amiga mice. Ah, yes. But this option will not work with the original Amiga mouse that I have, because it only works on the Amiga mice that have one board, and my mouse has the two boards. Although I did kind of ponder, because I believe it's an open source project, I did ponder the possibility of taking the board and modifying it so that you could solder the second board on instead of having the buttons here. But the module that this board uses is a laser mouse module from, I forget the company, Avago, I believe. And Avago was acquired by Broadcom, I believe, and Broadcom discontinued this particular part. So you actually can't order this module anymore. So I'm hesitant to actually make a version of this board for my mouse. Although I guess it's still an option. But this would be one option. And I think I did find a place that still has some of these in stock. And as you'll see in a moment, I probably will order one, because I would like a tank mouse. And I really like the thought of a laser mouse, so that you don't have to keep cleaning crud off the rollers inside of it every 30 to 60 minutes. Ha 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 ha. Although that's not far of a stretch for those of you that have used ball mice. But this is one option. So another option that's out there is the Mouster. And it is currently out of stock. But the nice thing about the Mouster is it actually uses USB mice, and not just a PS2 protocol type. And it will actually work with more platforms than the Amiga, such as the Commodore 64 128, Mega 65, or Atari ST or STE series, Falcon, blah, 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 blah. You can see all these wonderful platforms. And even the ZX Spectrum. And it also supports for USB flash drives for configuring it and updating firmware. PlayStation 4 controllers, so I guess you can get joystick, all sorts of other, I mean, it's really cool, really flexible. It's out of stock. Because believe me, and actually, I think last week I mentioned that it was the international shipping that was why I hadn't ordered it yet. It actually was because it was out of stock when I checked before last week's stream, too. That was the real reason I didn't order it. It's kind of hard to order it when it's out of stock and they don't allow back orders. But for $37.99 plus shipping, even if it is international shipping, which I can't estimate what it is, it's a pretty powerful device. So it's definitely compelling. Works with lots of platforms, and it'll give you a mouse or joystick, it seems like. That's a great option. But the one I went with is this one that I found on eBay for $35 plus $4.15 standard shipping, and it actually arrived in a couple days for me. But Then again, they're in Indiana. Well, actually, I guess, yeah, I guess a little less than halfway across the country. So I got it in a couple days at their standard shipping. But anyways, this is an adapter of some sort. I have not taken the wrap off of it to see what's in it. But it actually takes a PS2 mouse. Oh, maybe it is a mouse. Well, this takes a PS2 mouse, not a USB mouse. But what I liked about it is it came with a USB mouse. Maybe it's not the most expensive PS2 mouse, but it's a PS2 laser mouse. I'll show it to you in a moment. And it was in stock. So for 40 bucks, I got an adapter and a mouse that I knew would work with it. And I'll show it to you in a moment. And I guess, yeah, did your mouse die? Yes. Perfect working solution for Amigas without a mouse. It doesn't support the scroll wheel. Midwest American seller. Mouse is designed in Germany. What more can I say? It seems like it was definitely targeted to Amiga owners. Kind of felt appropriate for a designed in Germany mouse to plug into the Amiga, since it seems like Amigas are big in Germany. Unfortunately, designed in Germany, of course, made in China. But I like the fact that I knew the mouse would work with it, instead of me having to dig through my box of PS2 mice, which I think are all rollerball PS2 mice, to find one that it would work with. But anyways, PS2 mouse, it's decent. I mean, it's probably on par with what you'd get with a computer these days, but it's got a laser on it. Yeah, it's got a nice shape. And then the adapter doodle. So it takes PS2, plugs in that way. It's something I haven't taken the shrink wrap off, the heat shrink off of it, because I don't have anything really to replace that with at the moment. Yes, some point I'll probably take it off because I am curious what's in it. It does appear as if whatever's under here, because of how the shape, it looks like it's a socketed chip. Whatever's under there, it's probably a little 2, 4, 6. Looks like an 18-pin microcontroller of some sort. So, anyways, yeah, probably an AT Tiny. Anyways, I'm going to plug this in, and let's see if it actually works. Yeah, it could be suspect. All right. And I see your comments, VHS. I'll get to those in a moment. Or actually, while we wait for the Amiga to boot. So VHS is suggesting that I do a continuity check while flexing the cable at the DB9 end and where the cable exits the mouse body. Now, that is a good suggestion. I did check continuity, but I was not flexing the cable when I did it. So that is something I haven't done yet. And check this. The solder joints are good. I did check solder joints. In fact, actually, I removed the 2 capacitors and the IC, so I know those solder joints are good. And all the rest of them did look good. And yes, I guess I could get a thrift store optical mouse and build my PCB around that. That is possible, especially if I could figure out what mice use that sensor. But I don't want to go through the trouble of designing a PCB if the only way to build it is to source mice from thrift stores, because the manufacturer discontinued the part. It's just kind of a unsustainable way of doing it, and I'm getting tired of OBS. Anyways, so wow, this this is really smooth. So anyways, so there's my speed test. Looks like my computer's no faster with this mouse. Memory, yeah. Yep, this mouse is actually just as responsive as I would hope. So there we go. I like it. Ah, yes. So anyways, I have an option. Now, not content to, leave well enough alone. I bought another tank mouse. So we'll give this a try. Yeah, let me put the link in the chat for that. Let's see here. Copy this link here. Yeah, let me pop these links in the chat while we wait for the Amiga to boot. So here's the eBay link for that one mouse. And then the Mouster for anyone that wants to check that out. And I think they link their blog, and then the laser mouse upgrade. There you go. Links if you are interested. Oh, and did I not? There we go. I forgot to select the Kickstart disk. All right. So I just happened to, I've got a saved search for Amiga on my eBay. Oh, that listing sold out. Oh, bummer. Well, yeah, I didn't realize that. Of course, maybe that explains why there was, maybe that explains why I didn't see something on the screen that I was expecting. Anyways, I bought a tank mouse on eBay, and I'm not going to admit how much I paid for it because it was probably too much. But the one thing, the seller actually took a picture of the mouse open. So I know this mouse has the single PCB in it. And I'm actually probably going to open it up live on stream to confirm. So anyways, yeah, I think we can see that this mouse works too. Yeah, these are crazy prices. But I really kind of want a tank mouse for my Amiga. Even if I also have a mouse that's not a crazy expensive tank mouse to use. But so I could set it up, have a setup that looks original, which is why I'm kind of hoping the cable for my original mouse is good, because I'm very tempted to put that cable in this with this mouse if the cable's fine, but it may not be. So I may just have to resort with at least I have a mouse that looks original. But I want to get one of those laser mice boards and replace the innards so that I have a tank mouse that VHS is saying you'd rather have the PS2 setup than the tank mouse. Well, I haven't used the tank mouse much, so that is true. Maybe I should give it a little bit of use first. The only thing is the I think this mouse works fine. It's just the cord's a little tangled. But anyways, it works. It's good. So yeah, I'm kind of I kind of wanted to be able to set this up so that it looks original, but yeah, that PS2 mouse works a lot better. Of course, but I don't know if that's because it's a laser mouse or what. But anyways, so live on stream, I'm going to just pop this open real quick and confirm that this actually is a single board mouse. Because if I do order one of those laser boards, I want to make sure I at least have something to install it in. All right. And confirmed. Ooh, okay. It's actually gross inside. So I don't know if the camera's really... Actually, I'll zoom in. But all right, so this is what the single board mouse looks like. And if I do not do anything to this mouse, I don't know if that's flux or... There's only one capacitor in here, so certainly that could not be capacitor juice. Oh, someone spilled something in this? But anyways, at least this is the single board mouse, so I can... it's the laser optics. Okay. So maybe if I put the laser... If I do the laser upgrade to this mouse, then I'll have the best of both worlds. It'll look original and... okay, Joe says it's the old school flux used with the phenolic boards. Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, certainly that capacitor didn't have that much electrolyte in it to be able to leak that far across the board. Oh, well, okay. Oh, there we go. So anyways, always when screwing the screws back in, you want to, especially for these self-tapping ones, you want to reverse until you hear it kind of snap down into the threads, because otherwise you'll create a new set of threads. And you won't be able to do that too many times before you won't be able to screw it at all. There we go. Actually, that didn't feel right. There we go. So, I have a mouse that I can use for the laser mouse upgrade. I've got a PS2 mouse that I can use until I actually can do that. Or I'll also use if I don't want to risk getting my laser upgraded tank mouse upgraded. And then thanks again, Joe, for loaning me a mouse so I could actually make sure I'd be able to test this. And then I've got the mouse of disgrace that I'm not going to throw it away. Don't worry, I will keep it. If I can eventually repair it or use it so that my other tank mouse looks like it came with the Amiga with the right angle connector. We'll see. But yeah, I will probably do a continuity check flexing the cable, but I won't be able to really do that on stream because that will be a tricky effort potentially. Although maybe I could if I clear my workbench off. So that is good because actually I'm kind of glad because there is one more thing, if I can see where I set it down. Yes, I did have one more thing. Because why buy a PS2 to Amiga mouse adapter with PS2 mouse and a tank mouse when you can also, because you look at the schematic and see where the mouse signals go, and partially because the seller had one left, when you can buy a replacement Paula chip. Which I kind of do need to test, but I'm not going to test it on stream. But yeah, I did find my I've been looking for my pin straightener like forever, and I finally found it the other day, and this chip is like, ah! This chip is 4 pins, 2 pins on each side too long to go in my pin straightener. Oh, well. Yeah, one more thing. So, yeah, I have a spare Paula chip now, which I probably will. I'll install it at some point to make sure it's okay. I did have this weird... Yeah, actually, VHS. So, the 3 chips in the chipset have names. So, this is Denise. Denise is the video chip. This is Agnes. I think Agnes is basically the memory controller. Although that might still be oversimplifying it a little bit. And this is Paula. And Paula is... My simple description would be, it's kind of like the multi-IO controller. So yeah, Denise, Agnes, and Paula. Now, you might notice that Paula is a ceramic chip with the gold metal top on it. And if you watch one of my VODs, you will notice that the Denise chip also looked like the Paula chip, that it was a ceramic chip with the gold top on it. But I have several scripted videos in works, but needless to say, you can probably see that I have a replacement Paula or a replacement Denise chip in here, and that's not because the original Denise was bad. But but the original Denise chip that was in this Amiga was the 8362R6, which was the original version, and it did not. The 8362R6 does not support extra half bright mode. So, since this is my only Amiga that I have, I really wanted to be able to do extra half bright. So I actually found, it came from the same seller that I bought the Paula chip from. He had some 8362R8s. They might be sold out now. But, well, they're definitely sold out of Paulas. I ordered their last Paula. I kind of wanted to wait until I had a mouse to see if the Paula chip was bad. But I noticed that they had one left, and they only wanted $20 for it, whereas all the other sellers wanted like closer, somewhere between 30 and 50, and a lot of them were in Germany, so I'd have to wait longer. So I just went ahead and ordered the Paula chip that seller had, since I didn't have any trouble with the Denise chip I bought from them. I think the Denise chip was like $26. These are I think these are pulls from probably Amiga 500s. So, VHS, best of luck with selling your house. So, and yes, VHS, if I have any spares, I will see what I can do. I have to admit, I'm very tempted to sell the original Denise chip from this Amiga to help fund some of the upgrades I've put into it. I have no idea if the original revision of Denise chip is worth anything to do that. I'm slightly hesitant to sell chips like this on eBay for fear of getting scammed, but I really don't necessarily need a Denise chip floating around, especially when it doesn't support extra half bright. I don't know. I may keep it. I haven't decided. There's pros and cons either way. I guess there's always the chance I might hold on to it in case I ever get a second Amiga. Although I certainly doubt I won't get a second Amiga that just basically falls out of an attic. But, and then I could always put this back to the original configuration and the other Amiga hopefully would support extra half bright. But yeah, that's the thing though. The original Denise chip could be worth something to a chip collector. And quite honestly, if it can help pay for some of what I've done to the Amiga, that's certainly one thing in its favor. Would certainly pay for the tank mouse and the upgraded Denise chip and the tank mouse, probably. There is something to be said for that. So, I think now that I got the mouse sorted, the next thing I need to do, and for this I'm going to have to clear the workbench off here, is, so the keyboard, at least so far I've found there's some keys on it that are really sticky, but it does work, it seems like. Believe me, I was surprised it worked. That contact cleaner, the contact cleaner actually fixed it, which I guess doesn't surprise me. It probably had corroded contacts. All right. So let me... All right, no, actually, I had to snag the anti-static bag. Let's see. So let me just go ahead and go set this on. Do not want to. All right, for safety, I'm going to set the Amiga logic board on my shelf down here. Because I don't want to risk knocking it off. That would be a tragedy. Oh, I found the other screw I couldn't find for the tank mouse. Whoa. Okay, well, I'm going to take a moment then, since I found the other screw, because I don't want to lose it. I'll go ahead and put the screw back. Oh yeah, and that really yellowed item that you saw me set to the side that I had the Amiga board setting on, that was the modem that came with this computer. About the only thing I think I might do to it is retro bright practice. Although I'm actually not so sure I'm going to retro bright this computer. I keep changing my mind. On the one hand, there are parts on it that are really yellowed and they kind of look bad, but on the other hand, I'm actually kind of not sure that I want to retro bright this computer as the first computer I've ever really retro brighted. So I may not retro bright. I guess I'll put it this way. It's not a no, I'm not going to retro bright it, but I think it's I'm not going to do it anytime soon, because it's definitely getting warm enough outside and the days are getting long enough that I certainly could probably do the water immersion method outside and it would work fine, but I just don't think I want that to be the first one that I do. And something tells me that either Joe is having a stroke or Joe's Discord is going off the rails. Badoop, 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 badoop. And knowing Joe, it's probably his Discord is going off the rails. I'm not actually worried that he's having a medical event. Oh, it's the other option that I didn't consider. Joe is Yeah. Joe is doing the chat version of what this modem would have sounded like dialing in. So yeah, that's funny. Zodium's Joe exercised too hard. But yeah, I guess when I do retrobrite it, this would make a great practice item because it's almost just as yellowed, although possibly a different plastic, but almost just as yellowed as the Amiga. But I have no real need for this. But yeah, that's the original modem. Although I'm sure that Joe's Discord might go off the rails any moment now. Yep. Yeah, I don't really, yeah, I agree with Zodium that retrobrighting is to feel better about having something old restored. Yep, for some people, for others, it's to impress others. And yeah, I agree with that. And sometimes it's just because sometimes it's like things are so yellowed, it's kind of not how you remembered it, but I've never had an Amiga. So now, granted, clean. In fact, I might even clean this modem. Definitely, there's dirt and grime on it. I'm definitely not opposed to trying to clean it. I think I got a little flux on it while it was sitting on my desk because that label got wet. Oh well. Yeah, cleaning is definitely something I'm not opposed to doing, but I don't want the Amiga to. I don't want to risk it looking mottled because that would just be a tragedy. All right, so I brought the I brought a keycap puller downstairs, and I have now promptly misplaced it. Let's see, where did it? Yeah, of course, I promptly misplaced it. Actually, it's probably, oh, there it is, under the mouse box. So, anyways, this keyboard is in serious need of cleaning. And I have some cleaning supplies here. I will just say that there are some things on this keyboard that I don't want to think about what they might be, because when I opened this keyboard up to see what was inside of it, in terms of caps and ICs, let's just say that evidence of rodentia fell out onto my desk, and I felt the need to take liberal amounts of isopropyl alcohol and sterilize my desk surface, or sanitize. I don't know which is correct, if that would be sanitizing or sterilizing. Sanitizing might be the correct one, but yeah, VHS, cleanliness level of that keyboard. El Barfo. Yes, that would be Zodium's, or no, Spirit Walker Adventures, both are correct, yes. Both probably really should be done to my desk after that. So, all right, so there's 4 screws holding the keyboard together, and then there are a couple of, it snaps together. Trying to remember where the snaps are and which way they want to unsnap. Actually, I think the spudger that I will. Hi, Adam. There we go. Oh, Joe shared video. Compelled to watch. I'll have to check it out later. Yes, so I think this is rust from there, because that's rust. Actually, so this keyboard, there's a metal plate under the keys, and it's got some rust here, and something that I really probably don't want to know what it is there. Some rust here, dust, and other stuff. And I think this keyboard part just actually sets down in the plastic. So you just kind of can pull this out. Underneath the keyboard also needs cleaned. Yes, vinegar stat. Yep, I will probably need vinegar. I have vinegar somewhere. All right, and then the RF shield is held on by 9 tiny screws. And this screwdriver might, it might actually be just small enough. So the interesting thing about this Amiga keyboard, as well as the other Amiga keyboards, is that this keyboard is over-engineered. Most keyboards have like some sort of a matrix decoder and probably your interface chip that'll interface it to the whatever bus it's on. I mean, there's some buses that are smarter than others, like ADB seems to be smarter than PS2 or the AT keyboard. I don't know. I think Commodore said, hold my beer or something like that, hold my coffee. Or maybe the engineers were over-caffeinated because they put a microcontroller in the keyboard, which maybe's not odd in and of itself. But if I remember what Joe gleaned from the data sheet, it's a 6502 based microcontroller with RAM and ROM. It's actually basically a small little computer running inside the keyboard. And the keyboard, apparently, among other things, is the arbiter of resets on the Amiga. So when you hit Amiga control to reset it, the keyboard controller actually starts a 10-second timer. And if it doesn't detect the computer has reset by the time that timer expires, it will actually send another signal to the Amiga that basically commands it to hard reset. Now, that just, yeah, Joe says it's a 6500/1 programmable chip. And I do know that if you could take the controller that is in an Amiga 500, and you do have to, you have to swap something. So it's not like a direct drop-in replacement. But it's basically, you could actually take that controller and use it to replace one in the Amiga 1000 keyboard. Minding that I think you've got to swap two of these wires. But yep, so it's a MOS, of course, MOS Technology 6500-1. I do know that, I know kind of VHS and I'd kind of prompted Joe to maybe ponder a replacement for that. But I do know, at least in the Amiga 1000 keyboard, it would have to be fairly low profile to fit under the plastic. So there definitely is a dimension constraint. Anyways, yeah, there is an electrolytic capacitor in here, which I probably will. I ordered replacements for it. I probably will replace it at some point. And there's a plastic shield that's just double-sided taped under there. But anyways, or a whole new PCB, yeah. That would be the other thing. Although this actually seems pretty sturdy if I can clean it. I don't know if the one thing is, I don't know if I can get this metal. Oh, there's screws. I bet the metal plate will unscrew if I remove these keycaps. Which actually, yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. So VHS was asking if an EEPROM-based solution would work. But yeah, Joe points out that the 6500 is like a CPU core, RAM core, ROM core, and 4 6522 cores in a single package. And yeah, VHS, the protocol is, I mean, basically, it's running a program that not only is decoding the keyboard matrix, but it handles synchronizing and resynchronizing with the Amiga. It's like, this is definitely way more complicated than just a simple encoder, because there's a whole protocol the keyboard goes through to synchronize with the Amiga. There's the protocol for the keyboard requesting a reset and then demanding a reset. And then there's also the protocol that the keyboard is actually watching the acknowledgments coming back from the Amiga, so that if the keyboard thinks that the Amiga is out of sync, then the keyboard can actually resynchronize with the Amiga. It's like crazy smart. So yeah, you definitely need to replace it with a microcontroller-based solution. Yes. Fortunately, yes, it is very well documented. That is definitely for sure. And actually, I just realized I want to take a picture of the keyboard before I start pulling keycaps off, because it seems like everyone that reassembles keyboards has a reference picture so that they know which keys go where, although I think in this case there's not any I don't think there's any keys that I really mix up, because it looks like they're all distinct and separate and whatnot. But I was not about to touch my phone with gloves that had touched this keyboard. Joe says it's more akin to an IBM keyboard than others of the day. It sends key codes instead of ASCII. You can tell the keyboard to do things from the Amiga. Yeah, it's like, I think I was joking with someone that if the keyboard was any smarter, the Amiga's computer would be in the keyboard itself, and I don't know, the box that's sitting on your desk would, I don't know what it would be doing. Yeah, any smarter, and the Amiga box would be like an empty box to fool everyone. Just because they wouldn't want you to. Yeah, the Amiga A button is pretty cool. Oh, I think I also just realized my camera's slightly. Oh, no, my camera's in focus. It's the Amiga A key that's just dirty, grimy. Yeah, video sync, yeah, pretty much VHS. Any smarter, and the Amiga's box would just be generating the video signals. Yeah, it's like pretty smart. So I know, I think in a previous stream I had mentioned that I thought the keyboard was dead because I tried to use it and nothing happened when I plugged it in. but the problem was I'd forgot to contact clean I forgot to put contact cleaner in that connector and on the ends of the cable. So that was why it didn't work at all before I contact cleaned it. So anyways, now this is just a keycap puller I bought from, I think I bought it from Adafruit. It really wasn't that expensive. And I'm going to just very gently pull these keys up because I need to, they're going to get a very nice wash in soap and water. I'll try to get rid of that rust because I don't want it to spread anymore. Let's see. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll probably try some vinegar. I'm not going to immerse this back plate in vinegar, but I'll probably try some vinegar to neutralize it. And then I've got some, I'll probably take some rust, I've got, what do they call it? Rust converter paint. Or I may very gently sand down the rust and then I might just apply rust converter because I think that'll also neutralize be better to soak the metal if possible. I think I might have enough vinegar to soak it. First of all, I got to make sure that I can actually remove the metal from the keyboard. It looks like it unscrews, but I am not going to desolder the key switches if I find that the key switches are attached in a way that unscrewing the screws doesn't remove it. If that's the case, then I've got some paint on rust converter that I will use to neutralize the rust and would use the Q-tips. If I can remove the metal plate, then I can immerse it. I think I've got, it's on the other side of the heat pump. I wouldn't be able to see it from here anyways. Anyways, I'm just trying to pull these keys straight up. Now, some of these keys feel a little stickier than others, and I'm hoping it's nothing that a little bit of contact cleaner in the switch won't fix. Or maybe it's just some dirt and grime that's... Because I guess the one thing, there's this spring or whatnot is in the key switch. I don't recognize this switch style right offhand. So hopefully I won't need to try to figure out what these are if I have to replace a switch. Hope that's not the case. So anyways, these all smaller keys usually just snap down onto the switch. The space bar is the one that I'll have to be careful with. And possibly I'll have to look under Shift and Tab and maybe return. I think backspace is... Okay, backspace I can see that it appears as if it's just a switch. Sometimes the larger keys have metal springs under them, so you want to be careful. Okay, the tab key Ah, yes. Okay, the tab key is fine. The shift key I can see has a little metal bar under it, so I'll have to be careful when I remove it, and quite possibly, I think both shift keys do. The return key, I can't see it. Yeah, I'm about to remove more keys. So, and I'll also just want to double check about caps lock before I pull it. It probably will just come off. The LED's probably just under the PCB. But it also does not latch down, so, because on some keyboard styles and styles of caps lock, the caps lock button actually, like, it's a push in, push on, push off. It actually stays depressed. This one, it does not. And yes, caps lock on this keyboard, I think, is yet another kind of complex thing, because I think the Amiga, I think, gets a key down event for caps lock, or key up, but it doesn't get both. I think it's key down. So it knows when it's pressed, and then the keyboard, I think, sets a bit for the key code to let the Amiga, or I don't know, I think for caps lock. So I think that's how it works. It sets a bit for caps lock instead of giving it a different scan code. It seemed a little different than how caps lock is done on other computers. All right, so, whoops. Okay, so the caps lock key does not look special. There's control. All right, I do see one, hopefully, the alt keys, although the alt keys may be the same, so maybe it's not actually a problem. They would be the only ones that I think are, that I might get mixed up. Otherwise, I'll like put a mark on one, a mark on the underside of one of them if they look different. I think I've got a pencil. I'll just very lightly put a pencil mark. But yes, I'll have to be careful when I wash it about the pencil mark, but I don't have a fine tip Sharpie down here. Otherwise, I just put like a little black little dot under one of them just to remind me that it's one, and then I'll have to watch this video to remember which one got the dot. But instead, I'll just use I'll put a little pencil mark, and then I'll put a dot on it before I wash it. Ah, yes, that was a very good call. The return key also has a metal bar under it, so I'll have to remove all the keys from around it first before I'm going to be able to pull it, probably. All right. Well, while I remove these keys, I'll remind everyone to please smash that like button. And if you're not already subscribed, well, go ahead and do that, because I'll have more Amiga and other computer platform content in the coming days. Including maybe once I decide whether I want it to be one video or two or what. Of course, at this rate, it might be a December video. Another video on the Emerson 8000 EC, which I'm sure is just a video that my holdup now is I kind of think that the video that I thought would be one video, I've got the script partially written and it's way longer than I really wanted the video to be, because I have some information that I thought was pertinent. Maybe it's not too pertinent. Oh, let's see here. I bet, does this shift key here have metal bar under it? Confirm. Yes, it does. All right. So let me see. So, all right. So on this one Alt key, let me see. Let me find the pencil. Oh, the pencil's in my drawer. No, it's not. It's on my desk somewhere. All right. Okay, where did my pencil? It's probably rolled off onto the floor somewhere. All right, let me see if I can find anything that I can use to put a tiny little dot on one of these alt switches, because they look the same, but I don't want to assume that. Otherwise, I'll take a little piece of Kapton tape and stick it to the bottom side of one of them. Yeah, because I sure don't know where my... Huh, okay. All right. It looks like my Kapton tape disappeared too. Oh, no, it's right beside me. Here we go. Okay, I'll just take a little tiny piece of Kapton tape and stick it under one of these Alt keys, just to remind me which one is which. Who knows, maybe this Kapton tape will stay on in the wash. So I'm going to put it on the one that was on the left side. There we go. So the left Alt key has a little piece of Kapton tape on it, just to remind me which one's which. When I take these keys up to the sink to wash them, I will probably find the fine point Sharpie that I have, and I will put a little dot on that one, just because I don't know if the Kapton tape will stay on in the wash. But that way, at least I'll know which one's which. Because they look the same. If I were guessing, they probably are actually the same, since they're on the same row. They're probably the same, but I don't want to assume that. Because the moment I do that, I'll be putting this together and rack my brain as to which one's which. Yeah, the number keys I'm not worried about, because the number pad keys only have numbers on them. So I won't get the number row and the number pad keys mixed up. The two Amiga keys, well, one's open, I guess, open Amiga, and one's closed Amiga. So I won't get those mixed up. And I've got a picture that shows me which one's where. The two shift keys, actually one's shorter than the other, so I don't have to worry there. And actually, I am very suspicious that this enter key and the 0 key on the number pad also have metal springs. Ah, and indeed they do. Wow. So all 6 of these keys have metal springs under them. And Joe is now looking for where in his shop the F12 key flew to. Well, good luck with that, Joe. Oh, good. Okay. So to get these keys with the metal bar out, looks like you can just lift up gently and then I gotta figure out how the metal, there we go. It looks like the metal just kind of clips in on the one side. Let me see here if I can. Very carefully use a spudger to coax the, here we go. This might actually work better. Or can I get the key to, no, I think I need to, all right. There we go. Just very gently use a spudger to unclip it. And now that I got one side off of it, it is easier to see. Let's see here. Come on, key. I know you want to. Come on, key. You've got to detach yourself from the keyboard. Otherwise, you won't. Uh-oh. All right. Oh, okay. That's good. Don't worry. I did not actually break anything. The little plastic piece that pulled out just actually snaps back in. That's handy to know. Okay. All right, for now, I'm going to keep the little metal pieces with each key. So, oh no, Joe is grumpy. Oh no. Keycaps on my Tandy 1000 keyboard are permanently affixed during assembly, apparently. Yeah, I think that would make me grumpy too. All right, so the space bar. There we go. The space bar has 2 springs. Wonderful. An added bonus. So there's 2 springs and the metal bar. All right, spacebar's out. It actually unsnapped a lot easier because actually it looks like the hooks are taller on the spacebar for whatever reason. But yep, it had 2 metal springs that went there and there. And because I'm really bad about things like that, I'm just going to, at the moment, set that on my desk with the spring setting on top of it. Because I need to probably find a container to put all these parts in. Yeah, there is a lot more rust on this than... Yeah, that's a lot of rust. I don't know if that's because someone spilled a drink on this keyboard at some point, or if the mice that were apparently in the attic near this computer had a party. We'll just say had a party around it. So really, although given how much rust there is, maybe someone did spill a drink around it. and just never really got. Oh, now the return key is interesting. Maybe it had several drinks spilled in it over the course of its lifetime. I guess it's also possible. I guess it's also possible that humidity, because the attic could have been humid. Humidity over the years could have done the rust too, or a combination of all the above. So there's the enter key. Interestingly enough, this is just like a placebo key. Oh, you can't see it. My head's in the way. The return key had a placebo key or something under it. All right, and then the enter key here. Unclip the spring. Basically, you just kind of have to. Basically, the easiest way to remove these metal springs is to pull the keycap up to get it off the switch, and then carefully look to see where the spring is and where the clips are, and then kind of take the spudger and very gently kind of push the key down so that the spring is at the bottom of the clip, and push the spring out in the correct direction. So for example, the enter and 0 on the number pad, the shifts, the spring, you push them up towards the top of the keyboard, space bar up towards the top. The return key, you actually push the spring out towards the number pad. And then, there we go. 0 key wanted to be stubborn. Yeah. All right. So I have that off. I can see there's definitely grossness under here. If I do spray this with air, it will be outside. All right, so the plastic insulator sheet just pulled off of this double-sided tape that is very, well, wasn't really holding much with age. And then there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws that I don't know if these are the only things holding the PCB to the keyboard. Yes, if I was streaming using StreamYard, I would send Joe the link and we could commiserate over keyboards together. But I'm at the moment directly streaming to YouTube. Not that I don't care for my Twitch users, but I forgot to, in time, sign up for a 7-day trial of a service that lets you multi-stream from OBS Studio at a higher quality than StreamYard will let you stream at. Rudy, if the metal part can be separated from the keys without desoldering or a whole lot of trouble, I will paint the metal part. But I just removed all the screws, and I'm about to see update on that, Rudy. No, I will not be painting the metal part. Because in order to get this PCB off, now that I just removed all the screws, I will have to desolder all of the switches. And I'm not going to do that. Because yeah, the PCB is yeah, it looks like they put the switches on the metal plate, probably screwed the metal plate to the PCB and soldered all the switches on. So yeah, I will be going to plan B, and that is cleaning it as best as I can, and I will probably resort to, I will use a small paintbrush, and we'll put some rust converter on it, but I don't think I'm going to try to paint it after that. And I'll just put some rust converter on it just to kind of take care of any rust that I don't manage to clean. And that'll hopefully, and the goal with that is also to stop any further rust from forming. Because I have a little bottle of, yeah, I've got a little bottle of rust converter somewhere in the basement. Let me see. I would kind of like to try to get some of the dust off of this keyboard. Oh, since I... All right. I guess I can, I've got the keys off. I guess I can inspect the... Some of these kind of felt sticky. Like that one there. Okay, so I got some sticky keys. Let's see here. All right, I guess at least, because I have a little bit of deoxit left in this small can. Let's go see if that's enough to... Okay, so it does look like if I can get this dust away from it, then I guess the keys that were sticky, probably with some deoxit to... Hopefully will... Maybe we'll fix them. All right, I guess if anyone recognizes what kind of switches these are, because in case I need to order a couple replacement switches for some of these sticky ones, assuming I could manage to find what they are. I don't recognize the I don't recognize the pattern, and I don't know that there's a brand name written on any side that I can see. I guess the one good thing is, if I did need to replace them, I bet if I desoldered it, the switch will pull right out. Ah, you can so I can put this in the ultrasonic cleaner. Well, I guess that would work. Desolder switch, remove switch, disassemble switch, reverse process. Pray. Yeah. I mean, I could put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. That would certainly take care of the grossness factor, but then I'll feel like replacing the fluid in my ultrasonic cleaner for the same reason. Let me see. How much? I'm tempted to go take this right outside and spray the dust away. Or vacuum. Guess I could take my shop vac and vacuum. Well, just remember to let it dry. Yes. So maybe I will put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, because that would take care of the dust and dirt, and it wouldn't do anything about the rust, but at least would get the dust and dirt out, and kind of hopefully maybe do something about the switches. I mean, and it would clean the factory, kind of the factory flux that's kind of gross on this board. Joe is printing something in blue scuzzy blue. Well, blue scuzzy blue is a very sharp color, Joe. Although, depending on what you're printing, it might be the wrong color. It will clean the contacts in the switch. Well, then, actually, I think I will. Well, I'm not going to do it tonight because the ultrasonic cleaner is not heated up, and it seems like I might actually want it heated for that. I guess, though, the one thing I could do is I could go ahead and replace this capacitor. Because if I'm going to do that, that would probably be good to do before I put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Let me see here which capacitor this is. I actually already have a replacement, because I actually had this keyboard open previously so I could look and see what capacitors were in it. So now I just need to remember which one this is so I can find the parts. So this is a 47 microfarad 10 volt. And 47 microfarad 10 volt. I don't want to knock those off. I believe these are the... All right, 47. See, that's not it, because that's 6.3 volts. See, those are 35 volts. These are 50 volts. Those I don't think are the right capacitance. 10 ml, 47. Actually, they might be these ones right here. Here. $47.10, 10 volt 47. All right. I am going to, let me double check both readings using the patent pending shaky cam. Oh, I'm not even anywhere close to that capacitor. There we go. I think that's it. $10 volt, 47 microfarad. $10 volt, 47. Yeah, all right. Confirmed. Since I'm going to put this in the ultrasonic cleaner, I am just going to go ahead and replace this one capacitor. Make sure I know which two leads they are. They are, make sure the board is actually marked for the negative stripe. Ah, that's cool. So it is these two leads here, and there is a mark for positive. All right. So tonight I will be attempting to use the Sample 88, not a sponsor. I guess Amtech just happens to make some nice fluxes. I will also be using my definitely totally legit, not really, because you'll probably notice there is something missing from the label. But I will be using my smoke absorber for safety. And first I will try the desolder with, well, I'll use flux, but first I'm going to try to desolder without flux. Yeah, I actually don't have the ASM that everyone else uses because I bought something else. And actually the thing I've been using works pretty good too. Well, I guess the thing is though, if I'm looking at my two flux containers, if I was going to just go ahead and use up the Sample 88 that's apparently not the final blend because they reduced the scent, or use the other tube that has more in it, I'm going to go ahead and use up the Sample 88. Yeah, that's a good idea. I paid like, I don't remember what this was, like $35, I think. And I melted the side of it last week. Oh, actually, ha 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 ha. I thought my desolder station was heating up, but little did I realize that I have once again fooled myself. And don't worry, nothing much was actually harmed when I just knocked a whole bunch of stuff over. Oh, but now I have lots of little solder powder on my desk. Yay. That's going to be fun to clean up. Well, Joe, I'm hopefully sometime soon going to put my Ender 3 together. the coworker that compiled a version of the firmware for it for the upgrades that he suggested, so that you don't have to go in and remember to reconfigure it if you lose your settings. He compiled firmware where the settings I need are the defaults. Yeah, I need to put it together because there are things that I need to print. Although, Joe, at some point I will remember, because I did have that cool idea for my LED bright that's the fruit logo, of getting you to print the case in the platinum color. I'll probably get with you on that next week. So, Rudy, I've been using Sample 88, like a bunch of other people. And for some things it works pretty good. I had trouble with this on the Amiga mainboard trying to desolder a chip last week. I don't know why. So the other flux that I had been using is VS213. That doesn't sound right. I jokingly marked off the part number, which is annoying, and tried to make this look like Sample 88, so I felt cool, and now I'm having trouble reading the part number. It's VS213ATF. This stuff actually works pretty good. I've actually liked using this. And yeah, these are both tacky fluxes. I do not know if this flux glows under UV light. I don't remember if it does or not. Also, if anyone knows where I can get a cowdog sticker, you know, the cowdog sticker, like the please let me know in the comments, because I so want to put a sticker on my desolder gun so that I think of Claris every time I hear because that feels just so appropriate. Don't you hear Claris just right now? So if you know where I can get that sticker, call 1-800-JUSTIN needs that sticker ASAP. Oh, Joe's actually reminding me that he already sent me the link. Yes, Joe. Now I think Joe sent it to me again because he probably realized that in the frustration of trying to get my Amiga mainboard to release its grip on the chip that it did not want to let go of. I mean, it just did not want to let go of that chip at all. Yeah, I missed the link. All right. Oh, and it's now, are you sure you want to leave YouTube? Yes, I want to leave YouTube. Don't worry. It's just the YouTube, leaving YouTube to go to the Etsy page for the Claris, the cowdog sticker. Okay, how big are these? 3.1 by 2.6. Oh! All right, let's, nope, break this out to a new window. All right. All right, I gotta share this. This looks cool. Okay, so it's a bit big to actually put on the handle of my desolder gun, I think, but it'll go on the side of it, and that's good enough for me. And it ships free. And are these like the matte soft touch coating, waterproof, and will not fade in direct sunlight? Oh, are these? Yeah, all right. Woo! That's exactly what I need, Joe. That is exactly what I need. And I guess that's actually what I guess I now have named my desolder gun. Claris the definitely not any way, shape, or form related to Apple's trademark, the desolder station. I know that doesn't really roll off the tongue really good, but I wanted to make it very clear, should Apple's lawyers ever see this VOD, that it is a parody. And because Claris the cow dog is really cool. So maybe I'll just make that my desolder station's nickname so that I don't have to call it that all the time. All right. So I guess, all right, let's try a little sample 88. Since I am going to put this through the ultrasonic cleaner. Get my, let's see here. All right. All right. So hopefully, I don't really know if that capacitor needed replaced, but I don't think it could hurt anything. There we go. One capacitor. Well, actually, I don't like the length of that lead. Let me cut it just a little bit shorter. There we go. All right. Well, it couldn't hurt to replace that capacitor, since a lot of the other capacitors that were on the Amiga were kind of gross. Although the dead bugs hanging off this are grosser. Ew, everything that's fallen off of this keyboard is like really gross, super gross. It is going in the ultrasonic cleaner. Like, in fact, I'd almost be tempted to drop it in just right now, even though the ultrasonic cleaner is not even warm. Yeah, all right. So the keyboard is well on its way to better health, hopefully. Capacitor will hopefully make sure that the keyboard continues to work well. It's just that one electrolytic. The ceramic's probably fine. Since the other capacitors that were well baked, this one was, well, actually, yeah, I'm looking at it. Maybe it wasn't leaking, but yeah, the dead bugs might be holding parts of it together. I'm afraid of that. So anyways, that's the keyboard mainboard, which I will blow dust off of it before putting it in the ultrasonic cleaner, lest I prematurely dirty my ultrasonic cleaning fluid. So I guess the other thing, which I will do just to kind of see how well some of these keys are going to clean up, and I guess to give folks a chance if there's any other questions or comments in the chat. I want to find a couple of these really gross, dirty keys and just kind of get an idea of, let me see, that I think that's the up arrow key, kind of looks dirty. There's some keys that had some really nasty gunk on the sides of them. Oh, the F9 key's sort of bad. Ah, the F3 key. Yeah, all right. So this is just some, yeah, I'll probably vacuum it first. Not only would, but I still will probably spray it off too, but outside, because I'm not going to do that inside. But yeah, I'll vacuum it off first. I don't have a anti-static vacuum, but, well, I'll just be really careful when I vacuum it. So it does look like the keys are cleaning fairly nicely with Windex. Because I guess I was watching one of the 8-Bit Guy's videos, and he just kind of was... Actually, I guess I was watching his Amiga videos for inspiration, and I think he basically said that his preferred way of cleaning these keys is just individually, and I know he uses a lot of Windex. And considering how gross they are, I would rather maybe not take them upstairs to the kitchen in their current state. But actually, that key looks better. It definitely, the gunk that was on the side came off. You have 404 to make them look new, like new. Okay, yeah, I probably will do that. 404, 404. Is that the like the polish stuff that Adrian Black uses, or something like it? Yeah, it's not Formula 409, which is cleaner in the kitchen aisle, which actually I would be tempted to use on these keys, but Windex is generally a little gentler. But actually, they do. That actually looks 100% better. I think Windex is actually doing a pretty good job of cleaning these off. Probably what I'll do, though, is I will probably kind of use Windex to kind of clean them, and then I'll take them upstairs and maybe let them soak in some good soapy water overnight, just to kind of make me feel better about actually typing on this keyboard without wearing gloves. Or maybe I might give them a nice isopropyl alcohol bath too, just to kind of clean away the EBGBs, or the heebie-jeebies, or... But yes, this cheap window cleaner that I got at the grocery store, that's Sprayway, not store brand, but yeah, the generic brand, world's best glass cleaner. Well, I'm actually kind of, all right, Rudy, I will definitely look at that. I guess probably find that at the auto parts store or Walmart. Well, I hardly ever go into Walmart these days. But yeah, I'll definitely find some of that because, yeah, getting these keys looking nice. And actually, these keys are actually not too bad yellowing wise, so I'd probably be inclined to not even bother retrobrighting the keyboard. Even if I do the computer, these keys actually, I mean, they probably are slightly yellowed, but they actually, they pass my test of, they actually look perfectly fine. It's probably other parts of the Amiga that kind of meet I might retrobright them at some point just because they're really yellowed. All right, well, good night, Rudy. Thanks for joining it, and I'll definitely check out that 404 next time I'm by the auto parts store or Walmart or Target. Actually, I probably will have to go to Target next week, so I may see if they have it in their auto parts section. Looks like with enough paper towels and perseverance, it looks like the Windex will get these keys pretty clean, and I'll probably let them soak in some soapy water just to kind of degrease them and make me feel better about using it. Yeah. All right, I'm not going to sit here because it's 11:30. I'm not going to sit here and clean all the keys. I just kind of want to get an idea for how well they would clean. So I guess so. Let me see. The plastic frame. Let me grab the plastic frame here. So I guess the plastic frame, because it kind of looks a little nasty too. Now, the frame definitely looks like it's a little more on the yellowed side. And I guess another reason why I'd be a little more hesitant to retrobright something like this is the emblem appears to be, I'm actually not, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. I noticed something about this emblem. Can you tell from, I think there's a peel on this emblem. I think the factory peel was not ever removed from that emblem. I'll leave it in place for now. But I think I might, I think I've got a, I think I've got a 30-year-old peel that I get to peel. Yay. So I'll leave it on there for now to protect it, but yes, because there is dirt and grime on the peelies, and I will not, there's no way I can clean it out. So it does look like I might have to go find a magic eraser for the keyboard, because it looks like it has a few places where it actually kind of got scuffed, like right there. But it does look like a lot of the grime is coming off with some Windex. Or, well, it's not Windex, it's generic window cleaner. Although it's going to require a bit more scrubbing than... Oh, it's nearly 40. Yeah, you're right. It is closer to 40 than 30. Because the Amiga came out in 1985 or 86. Actually, I can tell you how old this keyboard is, because the MOS chip had a date code of 0786. So this keyboard was probably manufactured in the later half of 86. So yeah, yeah, 36 years old. Yes, thank you. Yeah, okay, yeah, the Amiga came out in 85. You know, this keyboard may not be the original one to the system. or the Denise with extra half bright was much later in the Amiga 1000 lifetime than I thought it was. Now I'm almost tempted to go look at the motherboard and see what the date codes are on it. Because this keyboard was made in the later half of '86, this may actually be a replacement keyboard. Oh, you're right. That 0786, that would be, yes, 7th week, which would be February, yes. February, okay, so early 80s. So this keyboard was probably made early to mid 86. So this, okay, maybe it's the original keyboard, because that probably still would have been pretty early in the Amiga 1000's lifetime. It could also be a replacement keyboard because maybe the first one failed. Because honestly, the Denise chip was... So yeah. All right, well, thanks for joining, Joe. And thanks again for the Claris the Cowdog sticker. I will I'll have to acquire one or more because they are pretty cool. Yeah, Amiga 5087, that sounds about right. Or Amiga 500, not 5000. So, yes, the Amiga 5000, if there was one in development, never was released. Well, I mean, I know this keyboard will look much better. I mean, I can already tell the grime is coming off the keyboard. So I think it will look very nice when it's done, and we'll peel the peely off on camera, but I'm not going to try that now because it will protect that label for whatever cleaning I do. So I think that probably about wraps up what I had planned on doing. So I guess now I do know that the Amiga mainboard, there's nothing wrong with the circuitry that handles the mouse input. I have a mouse. I actually have two mice that I can use. One that's a modern mouse with an adapter, and one that is a tank mouse that I can upgrade to a laser tank mouse. So pretty cool. I will, if I do find that seller, if they have, if I see them relist the adapters, they may start a new auction, or if I notice they add stock, I will. If I notice they change auctions, I'll try to remember to go back and add a link to the description. So yeah, I actually VHS I almost can button the A1000 back up. The one thing I do need to do is I need to take the plastic case halves outside and spray them with the water hose to get all the dirt out of them, and then clean them. But yes, it is about to the point where I can start to put it back together. I also need to figure out how to route the HDMI cable for the RGB to HDMI. I've got a couple ideas. One, there is a recess in the Amiga 1000 case that I believe there's enough room where I can pass a cable between the power supply and the motherboard into the recess. Unfortunately, that option, I will have to drill a tiny hole in the underside of the case to pass the cable through, because there's not the hole, or I think I'll have to make an existing hole slightly larger. I don't really want to drill, but at least it'd be on the underside. And I would be able to use a cable that would be more resistant to damage, because it would be an actual HDMI cable. The other option I've thought of is to get a flat flex cable. Unfortunately, the one thing I haven't been able to find that I really ideally need, because of some components that are on the Amiga mainboard, is I have not been able to find a mini HDMI to flat flex cable. The flat flex would ideally let me just pass the cable out of possibly through one of the holes for the fan or between the case halves. But there's really, if I use a mini HDMI to HDMI adapter, it interferes with one of the components in the video circuitry, and I don't like the way it lines up. So, whereas I do have a mini HDMI to HDMI cable where the connector is short enough that it doesn't interfere with anything. I don't really want to bend the component over too far. So I'm still trying to see if I can find a cable that will allow me to do a no drill option. I don't want to do what I've seen other people do, and that's drill on the back of the case to pass the cable out. That is like, it's an option I don't need to do. I think I've got other options, either on the underside of the case where it's not visible, or pass a flat flex cable out if I can find one that doesn't require me to use adapters that will hit a component that would require me to bend the component over, and I don't really want to bend it over. And I don't know what the component is, but it appears to be involved with the video generation. So, anyways, yeah, that's the other thing I got to sort out, because I do want to leave the RGB to HDMI in it, because it's kind of pretty cool that it's basically tapping directly off the signals for the Denise chip. So it's getting all the bit signals without me having to use one of those RGB to HDMIs that requires me to put wires on the Denise chip, which then I would still have the problem of passing them out. But anyways, so yes, it is getting close to the point where I can start putting the Amiga 1000 back together. I do have also the one other thing I need, but I've got a way to do it. I need to print some 3D parts so I can mount the Gotek in the Amiga case. But that is assuming, because I do have an Amiga floppy drive on the way. Garth Beagle, thank you, Garth. He's actually sending me an Amiga floppy drive that he had as a spare. So if that drive actually will fit inside the case, then I may actually, and Garth thinks it works, so I may actually put the floppy drive in the case and put the Gotek externally, because I don't mind booting from a floppy disk. In fact, I'd actually kind of like a floppy drive somehow on the Amiga so I could image disks on the Amiga. And actually use disk media. But fallback, I'll put the Gotek in the Amiga if the one Garth is sending me doesn't line up with the case. I can still use the one Garth's sending me because I still have some disks I need to use in the Amiga so I can set up some of the other goodies that I have. But yeah, so I do have a floppy drive coming, because the one that came in this Amiga, I've got it right here. I tried to clean it. It's still not working. Looks like I got an incredible amount of sewing machine oil on it, because I just found that I have a puddle somewhere. Oh, that's lovely. I've got a puddle of sewing machine oil somewhere on my bench over here. Great. Actually, maybe I should set the floppy drive on this paper towel to absorb some of it. There we go. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this floppy drive. I cannot find instructions for disassembling it to get these circuit boards out, because I need to try recapping it. That would be the next step. But I can't find instructions to remove the circuit boards. And I don't think I cannot reach. There's not enough maneuvering room to try to cut the capacitors and solder new ones on the leads of the old ones. Plus, I realized after I ordered capacitors that there are 2 electrolytics on this board. I ordered polarized capacitors, and I've since realized they are actually non-polarized electrolytics. So actually we'll have to, if I figure out how to disassemble it, I have to try to find the non-polarized electrolytics that it needs. But hopefully the one Garth's sending will work. It's just a matter of will it line up, because it came out of an Amiga 500, and I don't know if Amiga Commodore changed anything between the 1000 and 500 for floppy drives lining up. So it might just be a simple matter of using the button that was on the 1000. We'll see. But that's on the way. I'll have that soon. Anyways, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me. Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already. And let me prepare my mouse to click the stream end, because it is that time, because I need water. I have something caught in my throat, so I definitely need some water. So anyways, I would like to wish everyone a great evening. Take care, and I hope to see you next time. Yes, and as VHS is suggesting, always use the cosmetic parts from the thing that you are fixing. Yes, I do have the original button from this floppy drive. That is one requirement. That button needs to fit, because that is the button that'll match plastic age coloring. So yes, always good advice. So hope to see everyone next time. Computer